Hello and good morning. We're back again Sunday morning. It is Good Morning Business Owners with me, Leon Street. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how success seems to elude most coaches and experts, but not a select few. This is going to be a deep dive, I guess, into, what a lot of people avoid, what a lot of people fear, and also what a lot of business owners, coaches, experts, and consultants aren't even aware, perhaps what's going on with themselves, and why, when they look at success, it almost feels like this external thing. And this external thing seems to be, something they just can't tap into. And what I want to do is just really get to the point where you guys are fully aware of what is possible. Let's just switch screens for a moment, and really just taking you to that next level of awareness and understanding in terms of what needs to happen for you to go to that next level so you can be successful. So what I'm going to do is just open up my slides in the background. Just give me a second, guys. I've got something prepared for you, and then we're going to get into today's content and crack on. So let's get into this. So why success seems to elude most coaches and experts, but not a select few. So if you're not subscribed already, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are broadcasting live right now on YouTube and Facebook. If you're not subscribed to the channel, simply go to leonstreet.com/YouTube and hit the subscribe button, and you'll be notified of all my upcoming live streams and new video uploads when you click on the notification bell. So make sure you do that as well. When you go to that link on the screen, you'll be redirected to my YouTube channel. So you won't have to go to a separate page or opt in or anything. It literally just redirects you to the YouTube channel. So it's leonstreet.com/YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to start with this quote first of all, and I'm going to read this quote out because I think it's important that you take this in, and you may or may not have come across it, and I'll share with you when I came across this quote actually. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom right in so you can see, for those of you watching back either live or on the replay, and it's called Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson. And I came across this quote, I don't know, I think it was like 2010 or 11. And I came across it because Tony Robbins read it out into a motivational video, and it kind of went viral back then. And it's called Our Deepest Fear once again. So our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, universe, whatever you believe in, guys. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So, we kicked off with that, and I want to share where I'm coming from then. And look, guys, don't read into it if you're not religious or anything. This is just an expression when I, see what people write about God, of, what people believe in is a greater force, greater power. Some people call it universe, some people call it God, some people call it whatever they want to call it. Other people don't identify. But there is definitely, I guess, a general feeling of there is a greater light within us. And that's what we're all here for, each individually. We all have a purpose. We all have something to enlighten others. And I guess that's the point that I wanted to get across with this. It's a poem, right? And, go check it out. I think you'll still find the video somewhere on YouTube. But, here's what I want to touch on. Success elude you? No way. That, a lot of business owners, a lot of coaches, experts, they're like, there's no way success can elude me, yet they're not where they want to be. So what happens when you're a success then? So let's just assume you're going to be a success. Maybe it's just taking you a bit longer than you thought it was. Maybe you're working on being a success, and that's your response. Well, maybe the comfort of where you're at is good enough for you. Maybe working towards success is actually the place where you found to be your comfort zone. And, I'm not saying like, I'm saying this to put you down. I'm saying this because unconsciously you may have actually, put yourself in that position where you're in that comfort zone, and The comfort of where you're at for a lot of people is good enough for them. The comfort of trying to strive for something but not really making the progress that they want, or constantly being held back by something and thinking, oh, that's just the way it is, but I'm always fighting, but that's just the way it is, but never making real progress, real significant progress. There's a lot of people who fit into that, and for them that's life, that's normal, that's how things are, that's usually their response, like, that's the way my life is, that's how things pan out. And yet, there's so many people who are headed forward trying to go for success, and they can't really put a finger on on why it's headed that way, and success is eluding them, or they never get to the levels of success or reward or result that they have truly achieved what they set out to achieve. Maybe they've got partway there, maybe they've got a compromised goal that they've achieved, or something quite not where they wanted to be, but perhaps to others it seemed like, well done, you've done a good job. And that kind of feedback that you get, where people, let's say they are supporting you to some extent, let's say, it's kind of kept you where you are. But there's the flip side of that, where people don't support you and say, look at you, you failed again, see, you keep trying these wacky, crazy ideas and it never works out. And so what can happen is, psychologically, you start to make that place your comfort zone, and you don't do it consciously, you do it unconsciously. So what's the next step after that? Maybe you're thinking success brings new challenges, not near challenges, new challenges, and that might frighten you. And this is okay. Success can bring new challenges. You may have heard people say, with success, you got to pay more taxes, or you got to do this, or it brings new challenges. But the reality is that as you achieve your goals, as you head towards new levels of success, that's what allows you to grow. And you grow into new challenges because you're in the place of the unknown. When you achieve something new where you've never been before, either a result, could be a monetary result, or impact, or something that you've done that's just like you really wanted to achieve it, and you make it happen, you grow. And in your growth, you're not meant to know the outcomes and what is to come after that. And so long as you can accept the fact that, when you get to wherever you need to get to as your next goal, that you'll be ready to tackle those challenges. You won't be in a place where you're just going to be pushed back into fear and you're going to go and play small again. But actually what's going to happen is you're going to move to that next level and say, you know what, there are always going to be challenges, but I'll always get better. And I think the more you start to look at yourself in terms of how you can respond, the more successful you do become. So success eludes you. Well, here's what might happen when you are successful, and I guess why a lot of people tend to avoid success. You might get extra attention, but you're shy, you're introverted, or uncomfortable with the spotlight, whatever label you want to give yourself. And I see this quite a lot, for instance, I'm an expert and I help introverts, or I identify with introverts, or I identify with extroverts, and blah, 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 and I'm guessing for most people, there's always a time when you can be introverted or, extroverted, or just kind of sit in the middle. For me, I don't identify with either one. I'm just me. And I think the more that you can just understand that you're you, and that there are different traits of your character, then, the less that you make it a thing, the less that you give yourself a label, which is an important thing, more important thing. Public success may bring social or emotional isolation. And so if you're experiencing that, like not experiencing that, if you're expecting that, obviously that might fear you, because you might think, what, I might not be able to be around either the people or go to the places that I need to or would like to. Your achievements might alienate your peers. So you might be thinking, oh, if I do a goal, go for that goal and achieve it, then perhaps I'm going to alienate people away from me. And again, this can also be another fear, and this in itself can just alienate people. They're like, oh, I don't really want to change. I don't want to become this, that, or the other, or take my business to 6, multi-6 or 7 figures, 8 figures, 9, whatever it is, right? Whatever result you want to go for, because you think to yourself, or you might think to yourself, I don't want to alienate the people that I know right now. But the reality is, a lot of people don't understand that actually the more you get into, achieving your goals and going to the next level and figuring out what the next thing is for you, the more that you'll start to see that actually there are other people. There are new relationships for you to forge, the new places for you to explore. And the fear of alienating your peers is only a fear when you think of yourself in your current circumstances and don't think of yourself in terms of the person that you'll become. What else might you fear around success? People might think you're bragging or a lot of self-promotion, and you might feel, insecure about yourself. And, again, that's another fear. So why else? Why might success elude you? You fear being knocked off your pedestal. You didn't want to be on in the first place. So meaning that, yeah, you might want to be a success, but you don't want to be knocked off. You've got now the fear of, well, if I achieve what I want to achieve, what happens if I can't retain it? What if I can't keep it? And again, that can become a comfort zone, thinking, I'm not going to go for it because I don't want to see what happens when success is taken away from me. And before you know it, you're in this crazy loop of like wanting something, but fearful of something that might never actually come to pass. Success may not, be all it's cracked up to be. So you may even be thinking, well, perhaps I don't need to go for it. Perhaps I don't want that thing. Perhaps I don't want to experience the elation, achieving, the reward and the success of achieving those goals. Or success might change you, but not for the better. And, like I've heard this many times, especially with like very successful people. And I've watched, videos on YouTube, and they say, for instance, like as an example, the more successful, as in wealth, people get, all it does is amplify what was already there. Yeah. And, if you're fearing success and you're thinking success is going to change you, no, it's simply going to allow you to be more amplified. So whatever character, personality traits that you have or habits that you have right now, they'll simply be amplified, meaning that more of that will come through, as you grow in success. So if you're fearful of change and thinking success will change you, no, it will amplify you. And so again, it's another, false evidence appearing real, fear. So let's have a look at what you need to think around in going for success. Well, see, here's some things that I want you to understand. Whenever you're in a place of fear, there's two things, which is what I've got in step 1 and step 2. Step 1 is about your mind. Your mind is what thinks, and the mind is the place where fear is created, because your mind it's this biological organism that is inbuilt into us and there to protect us. And so fear usually comes from the mind planning ahead to prevent anything bad happening to you. And success could relate to something bad happening to you. And I'll get to why in a moment. But the key thing is, your mind is the thing that thinks about fear. Yeah, so your mind is the thing that controls where your fear comes from. And so the more that you tap into what's going on in your mind, and I guess getting, new ways, new tools to help you around being more mindful, around, looking into past traumatic events and so on. Like, these are the things that will help you to create a powerful mindset and also understand what's going on when you start to feel fear. Because there's a lot of people who feel fear and they don't know what to do other than feel the fear and go with the results of that fear. So what else do you need to think about? Well, see, the body is what feels. So when your mind is in a place of fear, it can actively think about something that you're scared of. But your body is the thing that, your hairs stand on end, or you feel tense, or you clam up, or you get sweaty, or you have cold sweats. That's how the body responds to fear. So if your fear of success is triggering both your mind, the ideas, pictures, and things that you can see around what success will create, but it starts to scare you, you've got to understand that then your body will have a natural response and start to respond accordingly. And what I've found, and especially as I've looked into this more, and if you look at people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, really great, expert in the field of how to understand what's going on with your mind, body, and your soul, and connect to something more powerful to achieve what you want in your life. He explains that actually, any emotions that you have and thoughts, fears, all those types of things, they're learned memories. They're things that have happened in the past, and you've conditioned yourself in how to respond to them. And so the point that I want to get to with your mind and your body is that if you think of success as something that will bring about, I don't know, hard times, difficulties, problems, challenges, and it'll bring about, I guess, more pain and more annoyance in your life than just being where you are right now, then it's usually because your mind and your body have got learnt behavior to avoid success. You've got learnt behavior because perhaps, let's say when you were young, you achieved something really good, and then somebody said, oh, that's not good enough. But you felt like, oh, it was good because that's what you wanted to do. And it could be insignificant things. It can be small things. It can be, bigger things. It could be bigger events. But most of the time, when those things happen, it happens either in an environment where there's a lot of people, and so there's a lot of pressure, even though it's not quite present. For instance, reading aloud in a classroom when you were younger, and then kind of fumbling, and then kids laughing at you, making you fear, well, actually, I really did want to be able to read better, but now I'm scared because what if people start to pick up on the fact that I'm not as good as I will be? But the fact that you fear now other people's criticism, that starts to play its part in what it would be like to go for success as an adult, as you are now. And I shared that little story because I remember being in, especially high school, and I'd be in English class and I would dread like being picked to speak. But when I'd speak, I'd be fine. But it's always that fear of, what if I make a mistake? What if I fumble? What if I make too many mistakes? People won't think I'm clever and blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, these behaviors are learned from the past, but they carry through into adult age. And the more you start to become mindful and aware to what's actually going on when you're thinking, being a success, and if there are any fear triggers that start to happen, then you can start to be more mindful of like, oh, actually, perhaps I don't need to respond in that way. Perhaps I don't need to think of, the negative thoughts of what's going to happen. Maybe I can think more positively of what the positive outcome will be. And this is one of the first steps into raising your awareness and your consciousness to actually what fear is for you. And especially if this fear is all related to being a success, because it might sound like a paradox. How can you fear being a success when being a success is going to give you the things that you want in your life? But trust me, this is real. So step 3 in going after success and not letting it elude you, past trauma. See, the thing is, and I just kind of alluded to this a moment ago with, perhaps challenges that have happened in your life, but perhaps there've been different things in your life where, you've been spoken down, you've been spoken at, something bad's happened when you really wanted something good to happen, or it just didn't work out the way that you wanted it. And those past traumas, those past events now play a part in your life going forward, meaning that you're not as confident in going for the things that you want. You're not as confident because what if those types of events happen again? What if you face some type of bad experience again? Yeah. What if you face something where there's shame, embarrassment, and guilt again? Yeah. And these are the things that can affect your success going forward. And, for every hack, for every tactic, strategy, or different things that people can preach, sell to you, or offer you, it doesn't matter if you have these past traumas, and I'll tell you why in a moment. They will simply control the way that you behave. And, I remember researching into this, and I think the statistics or the numbers is that 90% of, how we respond, act, perform, and show up in life is all down to our unconscious mind. Meaning that no matter what you do and say consciously, you've got thoughts that are going on, unconscious to you, that control the way you experience life, the things that you attract into your life. And if you are going for a successful goal, or a goal that will help you to become successful, the challenges of your past traumas, experiences, and difficult times, and these can even be like, I might be saying past traumas, that could just be insignificant. They can be really small, but to you, they meant something significant. And those past behaviors and programs start to play out unconsciously for you when you're going for success. And what happens is it always eludes you. It's almost like I can't seem to, break the shackles, or I can't charge too much in case this happens. And I can never close enough new clients into my business, or I can never bring enough new leads into my business, or whenever I do this webinar or this VSL or this marketing thing, it just never works out. Or when I try and create new relationships with either friends, peers, or even, a significant other, intimate partner, it just never works out. And for me, this is the unconscious thing. This is the blind spot of a lot of coaches, experts, and consultants, and the things that they don't see when they're going for their goals, when they want to be a success and they really want it. And what can happen is, with all of this wrapped up into your, let's say, your unconscious, and then let's say bad habits or habits that don't serve you, when you mix all of that together, it's no wonder that a lot of people like to play it safe and stay in their comfort zone. It's no wonder a lot of people don't even see the possibilities of what it would be like or how it could be to be a success. And for me, this is what I would just want to raise your awareness to, that the more you can start to tap into what I've just shared with you, and the more you can understand, perhaps habits, the things that you're doing right now that were good for you when you were younger, good for you 10 years ago, 5 years ago, probably even a year ago, but they don't serve you where you're going now. This is this is more of the kind of awareness that you need in order to make the necessary changes that you need in your life. And the more you can start to understand the things that don't serve you, these habits, the more you'll get to a place where you start to forge new habits. You'll seek new information. You'll seek out mentors, coaches. You'll seek out people who've been a success, and you'll look into their life, not just necessarily look up to them, but you'll look into them. You'll find out what challenges they went through, because I'm telling you, every successful person that you look up to, they've been through challenges. And you're probably thinking, well, what's so different about them compared to me? Like, I'm doing all the things. And so the thing is, as human beings, we like to generalize, and we like to kind of look up to people and say, you know what, they're doing this thing and I'm following them exactly. But the reality is you can't follow them, because the way you were brought up, your upbringing from 0 to 7, which is usually called your individuation, the time in your life where you become an individual, you forge your own personality and your beliefs, values, programs, and the ways that you should do things and so on. Like, that's individual to every human being, even to brothers, sisters, twins. Their upbringing has a different filter, a different angle. And if you take that into consideration, it doesn't matter if you're doing all the same things as people. Perhaps there's things that you are unconsciously doing that are absolutely different to the people that you look up to or you look into as your heroes, or the people that you'd love to be like. And that's the thing that you need to work on most, which usually comes back to your own habits. And these often are the things we don't see because they're unconscious to us. And I refer to these to my clients. I call them blind spots. And these blind spots aren't the easiest thing, first of all, to see. Secondly, to admit to. And thirdly, to actually want to change, because we've become so conditioned to what it feels like to be the person we were yesterday, last month, last year, 5 years ago. It's become an ingrained program. You can unlearn it, but you've got to want to make the change, and you've got to be courageous enough to actually go through the process of making those changes. So with those 4 steps in mind, here's the final thing of why success will elude you. You're just not ready. You're not ready for success. It's that simple. There's nothing else to it, and I spoke about it a moment ago, where perhaps you are in a place of comfort zone, and that comfort zone might feel real comfy, so comfy that it's got you wrapped up in a blanket on your favorite sofa, the fire's on, you're feeling snugly, you got your great or your most favorite series on Netflix, or the movie you love watching, you've got music or whatever it is, yeah, and you're happy there. Whilst everything around you is not really what you want it to be. And this is the final thing that I wanted to share with you on this topic today of why success may elude you. And I'm hoping at least just one thing out of today, whether you're watching this live, whether you're watching this on a replay, whether you're listening back on the podcast, I'm just hoping that one thing today triggers some kind of awareness in you to take action, to actually go for success, to start to make the changes that you need in your life, your mind, and your approach. Yeah, and really go for it. So I shared this one in a previous video, this quote, and I want to share it with you again, guys, because I think it's valuable, and I think it's important the more you tap into it. And again, it's by the same author of the poem that I started today's video with. When you realize that the real breakthroughs come from levels of higher consciousness, which is awareness, then you also realize that the achievement of maturity and wisdom is the most powerful generator of new beginnings possible. Maturity, wisdom. Maturity is being able to look back on the things that you've done and think, you know what, I can choose a different way to respond, a different way to think, a different way to feel. Yeah. And I guess the wisdom comes from experience, by doing things and actually failing, but being okay to say, that's part of the process. Let me go again. Let me make it happen. Let me work towards that goal again, and just not stop. Yeah. And just get up one more time. And that's what I want to leave you guys. If you want help growing your business and you want to make the significant breakthrough so you can achieve success and then go to the next level and go for the next goal, then comment grow below this video and I'll help you get there. I have some information I can send you that will help you to be a success in 2021 and beyond. If you like this content, guys, remember, do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to leonstreet.com/YouTube. You'll be redirected to the YouTube channel on youtube.com. Hit subscribe, click on the notification bell, and you'll be notified of all my upcoming videos. And I just want to say on that note, guys, thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate you guys for watching, everybody listening back on the podcast, Elevation Nation. And on that note, I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that this video helps to set up your next week for success. Take care. Bye-bye.